Hello everyone, I am Third Mario Brother. Welcome back to Let's Play Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards. In the last episode, we came to the final world, which is Ripple Star, and we completed its first two levels, and in this episode, that's right, we're going to be finishing up Ripple Star. If you remember in the last episode at the very end there, I didn't mention it while it was going on, but we stepped onto an elevator that looked exactly like this, and it took us up into a room. The previous level was a lot darker than this one, and this one it looks almost like a bit of a toy storage place, or like... for some reason, it reminds me of a Build-A-Bear workshop or something really non-threatening like that, which is kind of funny. I have one memory of a Build-A-Bear workshop, so I'm sure my knowledge of its anatomy isn't especially, like, well fleshed out or anything, and I'm sure this doesn't look at all like a Build-A-Bear workshop, but, I remember we went there once when I was, like, 5 or 6 or something like that, and we built one for my grandpa, and we dressed it up in, like, a pilot's outfit because he'd flown in the Vietnam War, and that was like one of the things that was really that I knew about him at the time that like stuck out in my mind. It was really cute, and I feel as if I've lost absolutely none of my masculinity by saying any of that, and I do genuinely mean that, as facetious as it might have sounded, because I think stuffed animals and bears are cute. But anyway, digression aside, welcome to one of the last levels of Kirby 64. If you haven't been able to tell already, it's sort of like a Gauntlet kind of level where there's no real like platforming involved. You're just going through and destroying all sorts of enemies. Now these spring guys here, not necessary to destroy, but that's it's an option, and if it makes you feel better about yourself, then go for it. Okay, and in this room here, there is one requirement that I should be sure to obtain, because, as always, we do have to look for the crystal shards, and for this particular crystal shard in this room, we need fire, and we need needle. So let's see if I can... Alright, I was a little bit worried there that I was gonna have to, like, redo the entire level or something like that, because I wasn't entirely sure if they had needle in this room. Come on. Alright, I'm such a terrible shot with this thing, but all you have to do is not way overshoot, but... Come on. Ugh. Man, this power-up isn't like a terrible power-up in concept because it leaves fire afterward for enemies to like walk into, so I guess if there were more enemies that like ran into you over the course of the game, it'd be more useful. But, I am a terrible shot with it. I'm certainly no Katniss, and so it's not especially useful for me. Let's go ahead and keep the rock, why not? But yeah, this is a typical sort of endgamey feeling gauntlet type of level, and there's no real, like, super hidden crystal shards. The most hidden one was the one I just showed you guys, so there's not too much to worry about here. Shall we destroy these guys with our little animal friends? I suppose so. Actually, it's a little bit easier in these levels to just suck enemies up and spit them out. Combat in this game isn't especially difficult. It's it can be difficult when there's platforming involved and you're moving through the level. So I suppose if you're rushing is the most appropriate time to say that this game can be difficult, but that's of course because you're rushing. But yeah, gauntlets like these are pretty classic in games generally, I guess. You could think of this level as like Kirby's Elite Four, or like a Mega Man boss rush, or something like that. And a lot of the times these can be lazily done and just hacking it in, but I don't mind this one all that much. It's really not that bad. If you have the boomerang power-up in this particular room here, it can make things a little bit easier, because a lot of the enemies are going to spawn in a line like that. But other power-ups work not quite as well, actually. I lied. Come on, are you gonna fly down into me? There you go. See, these enemies aren't especially smart. They all just fly into you and bring about their own death. So don't say it's my fault, because it's certainly not me who's destroying all these innocent creatures' lives. Not that they're innocent. I don't know, now that I think about it, all the worlds we explored, were the creatures there naturally living there and just defending their habitat? Or are they spawned of the dark matter, or what? But anyway, this is totally not the black hole from Super Paper Mario, but we're running up the staircase and we get a little bit of an awesome view of this. And because the last level transitioned into this one very well, we get to transition into something else now. That finishes this level, which is indeed the last stage of Kirby 64. It's not, however, the end, because we get to be sad and have a picnic one more time right as the world is ending right in front of our noses. But here we have it, folks. The final boss, question mark, of Kirby 64. Let's see if we can take it out and if we can finally end this adventure. Welcome to the pseudo-final boss of the game, Miracle Matter. Now, Miracle Matter, you might be asking why I didn't go into this fight with a power-up, because power-ups make boss fights easier, right? Not in this case. In fact, power-ups are almost useless in this boss. You see, Miracle Matter is sort of like Mega Kirby. Like Kirby if he had all the power-ups at once. And man, I'm doing terribly so far. But, yeah, Miracle Matter has one form for every, like, element in the game. And he can only be hurt by the same element, I guess. So, say he was just in his Spark form right there. You could only hurt Miracle Matter then if, you either had a Spark power-up or you used some of the stuff that he discharged at you. And discharge is kind of a silly and disgusting sounding word, but perhaps my mind is just a little bit too dirty for its own good. Who knows? Anyway, this form here is Cutter, if you couldn't tell, because it's sort of shaped like a cactus, I guess. I don't know. First time I ever saw this boss, I didn't really think of it as Cutter, but I suppose it makes sense. And, oh my gosh, I'm doing so horribly. But when he goes into his fire form, he'll spit these out here. All you have to do is not walk into the fire. Great job! Alright, let's try this one more time. Now, you do have to be careful around these forms. In this one, you have to jump there if you want to do damage to him. It's possible to get, like, this form. I've done it before. Out in, like, one shot. But it's kind of extremely difficult. So I'm not entirely sure how many hits each form takes before it's gone. And I do believe if you suck up like more than one projectile at once, it will do more damage. So you can keep that in mind. Although it's a bit difficult to do at times, especially when I'm so incompetent I can't even suck up one at once. And if you happen to keep one after the form has dispersed, you may as well just go ahead and get rid of it. Because, as I said before, you can only hurt Miracle Matter with the projectiles of his current type, or element, or power, or however you want to say it, I don't know. Anyway, here he turns into a Muck or a Ghastly or something. I don't know. Why am I making so many Pokemon references today? It doesn't even make sense. I'm not even all that Pokemon savvy. Well, I gotta say, X and Y look really good. But anyway, no more digression. This is the final battle of this game, and this should be the only thing that occupies our minds at this very moment. And I was hoping I could get him there, but it doesn't look like it, and I wasted my last opportunity. So go ahead and change back, Miracle Matter. You win this round, but you certainly don't win the war. Now this boss for first-timers, and if you can't tell I'm not especially experienced with it myself, can be quite a difficult one, but so long as you know all the patterns, it shouldn't be too terrible. Now, right there, you might have noticed him exploding just a little bit more than normal. That's because we took out his needle form there. That was the needle form, right? My memory's not that terrible, I hope not. But yeah, he won't be using his needle form anymore. And as you can see, as his health decreases there on the bottom, so will the number of eyes on his body, I guess? I don't know, that was the weirdest way to word that sentence possible. But as his health goes down, the number of eyes will as well. And that's just a sign that you're hurting him. And that one... Man, I always forget in this form that he rolls afterward, and it's a little bit confusing. But luckily, we got a little bit of damage in on him there, so we just have to continue. With this Spark form, all you have to do is stand in the corner, and you only have to worry about this one, I guess, ray getting shot at you. Oh, come on. They were all out of my range, man, or maybe I didn't act quickly enough. I shouldn't blame the game when it's entirely my fault. But yeah, for the Spark one, just stand in the corner and jump over the thing. And generally, these are pretty simple patterns. It's just they can surprise you the first few times, like I said before. Anyway, we just took out his Fire form as well, and hopefully this time we'll be able to take out his Rock form. Does it look like it? Well, he didn't hit us this time, luckily. Yes he did. I guess I spoke too soon. I don't know. That's the one thing in Kirby 64 that I'm especially not good at, is trying to, like, hit an enemy when it's dodging or when there's something in the way. It always seems to go wrong for me. I don't know, maybe that's just lack of coordination on my part and I shouldn't blame the game. Which, I'm not blaming the game, I'm just saying I'm terrible at that specifically. And this, I think, is his worst form, because you have to, like, you have to assume depth that you can't really see very well, or again, maybe that's just me. Because, it's like that, the boss of Rockstar, when you had to, see whether the diamonds or whatever they were like coming out of the screen or whatever. And it's a little bit difficult to see in a game like this where it's like mostly 2D based, but it's not that bad, I don't think. I say as I utterly fail to get these crystals. Alright, there we go. Come on! Missed by just an inch. That stings. Today was the first time in quite a while that I played this game, and it was kind of funny earlier because I think I have Smash Bros. A little bit too much on the mind, because I was trying to, like, shield and dodge with the R button. Alright, let's make this last hit count. This should do it, and there goes Miracle Matter, and there go all the problems, except we have a little bit more. I didn't realize we weren't finished with the rock form yet. Alright, come on. There we go. Now we're done for real. He sort of juked me before, but yeah, there goes Miracle Matter, and here is our final Crystal Shard. Or is it?